Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. Machine guns are legal now? Well, technically they always have been. A machine gun is just as legal as a suppressor or an SBR. It's an NFA item. The issue is that the supply of machine guns basically was capped in 1986. And so you have to have a lot of money to be able to get a machine gun, but literally it is just an NFA item. But all of a sudden, people think that they are totally legal to own without an NFA tax stamp. And the reason for that is that there was a guy in, I believe, Kansas, and he was caught with a Glock with a switch, as well as, I think, a couple ARs with drop-in auto sears. And a federal district court judge basically let him off, saying that there was no constitutionality to the prohibition on machine guns. And that judge is correct. So make sure you're subscribed and let's talk about this. Please excuse my voice being the way that it is. I'm a little bit under the weather right now, but don't worry, you cannot catch it through the camera. But anyway, I wanted to get into this because I've seen a lot online, a lot in these Facebook gun groups and stuff. A lot of people seem to believe that machine guns are totally legal now. Like I said in the intro, machine guns have always been legal, but NFA items, and NFA items that there's just not very many of them left to find, at least not at a reasonable price point. Supply and demand. Not a whole lot of supply and a lot of demand. The thing is this. So this federal district court judge basically let this guy off, ruled in favor of him, saying that, there was no constitutionality to a prohibition on machine guns. And the judge is correct in that because he's actually applying Bruin and Caetano and these other cases the way that they should be applied. And this is the thing about Bruin that can help us a lot going forward. And it is right here in this case. So Caetano basically said that all bearable arms are protected under the Second Amendment. Well, machine guns are absolutely bearable arms. Especially, light machine guns, carbines, an M4, an M16. Even, I have to say, a Glock with a switch is a bearable arm. So, under Caetano, they are absolutely protected under the Second Amendment. And under Bruin, where you have to have any, prohibitions have to be consistent with the text, history, and tradition of, prohibitions at the time in 1791. Well, there was no law against machine guns in 1791. The NFA wasn't put into place until 1934, and the GCA not until 1986. So there were no prohibitions on machine guns at that time. So technically, yes, machine guns should be totally legal. You should be able to drill a third hole, drop an auto sear in, and not have to worry about anything. But is that really the case? Well, the problem is that in this case, it really only applies to the defendant. This is not like a Supreme Court case. It doesn't set precedent across the board. And so it doesn't really mean that you can just go out and, turn your AR into a machine gun or your AK. Although, really, under the Constitution, you absolutely can. But will you get arrested for it? You might if you get caught with it. And that is the problem with cases like this. While, the case went exactly as it should, if you're using these previous cases that did set precedent, unfortunately, it does not apply across the board to everyone. Although if we get a case like this up to the Supreme Court, then of course, it would apply to everyone. The problem is that the gentleman in this case would have had to have lost at that district court level and had to appeal it up the ladder to get to the higher courts. In fact, he won, which is a great thing and good for him. But unfortunately, that means that it doesn't really apply to the rest of us. But we're going to get a little bit deeper into this. Before we do, let's have a quick word from our channel partner. This video is sponsored by Aura. Aura is peace of mind in a world that is so much online these days. Every time that one of you guys clicks the first link in the description and signs up for aura.com/sawtoothtactical, you help me fund this channel to be able to bring you guys new cool stuff to show. What does Aura offer you? Well, for one, if you use that link, you get 2 weeks free trial. That's 14 days, and it is only $12 a month after that. And for that $12, like I said, you get peace of mind. What they do is that they go online and they find data brokers that have your information, and they submit opt-out requests on your behalf. And then scammers, spammers, all these things online that want to take advantage of you can't get a hold of your information anymore. I've been using it now for months, and it's really helped me out quite a bit. I'm one of those people that really gets sick of getting spam calls, spam emails, all this stuff all the time, and I don't get it anymore ever since I've been using Aura. It is well worth the money, but you also get a lot more than just opt out from data brokers. You get a VPN, home title monitoring, password manager. Basically, all of the stuff that your online security, they just take care of all of it for you. It's super easy to set up. It takes like minutes, and it hardly costs you anything. Think about all the other things that you spend more than $12 a month on. This just, it's nice to not have your information out there anymore and to not have to worry about that stuff anymore. So check out Aura, use my link. You get 14 days, 2 weeks free if you use that link. Again, that's aura.com/sawtoothtactical. I really, really love Aura, and I think you will too. The reason that I wanted to make this video is because, like I said, I see a lot of bad information a lot in these Facebook gun groups, which is, that is definitely a section of the gun-owning public in America. And I see, some people know what they're talking about. A lot of people do not. A lot of people still seem to think that pistol braces are illegal, or that an AR pistol and an SBR are the same thing, or that if you have a brace on your shorter barreled AR, that it's an illegal SBR because of the whole pistol brace rule thing that we went through last year. Well, that's not the case anymore. I'm running a pistol brace on my Mark 18 right now. The only reason I am is because I am still waiting for the tax stamp on it. It's been about a month and a half now. And I did just email the FBI earlier today because the last time I was waiting on NFA items for a long time, I emailed them, and the very next morning I got a batch approval for 2 suppressors. So I am optimistic. Maybe I'll be able to put the stock on my Mark 18 tomorrow. But this is the thing. A lot of bad information out there. But the thing is this. Being able to put this stock on this gun or own a suppressor, these are basically the same thing as machine guns. Machine guns are just NFA items. And people tend to believe that machine guns are illegal and have been illegal. Well, not really. And in fact, before the National Firearms Act and the Gun Control Act, machine guns, you could buy them in like the Sears catalog. A machine gun is a bearable arm. And really it wasn't looked at as such a scary thing until the mobs, basically during Prohibition, were using Tommy guns and terrorizing the public, and they wanted to put a stop to that. And that's basically the story of how machine guns became regulated as NFA items, and same with SBRs, and same with suppressors. But the thing is that you can buy a machine gun. The only issue is finding one and being able to afford one. Now, if you can afford one, they are out there. In fact, there are, I'm not sure of the exact number, but there are tens of thousands of machine guns, totally legal, transferable machine guns. The problem is there are not any transferable machine guns, new transferable machine guns after 1986. Well, I was born in 1982 and I'm 41 years old. So 1986 was quite a while ago. Firearm technology has gotten better since then, although it hasn't changed much. The 2 most popular carbine platforms are still the AK and the AR, and you can absolutely find transferable full auto AKs and M16 lowers with auto series in them in 3 position selectors. The thing is that you're going to pay a lot of money for them. In fact, just to get a transferable auto sear, which is a very small, very simple part, might cost you tens of thousands of dollars because there're just not enough of them out there to feed the demand. And so the price of them has skyrocketed because there's not enough supply. Well, with this bad information, a lot of people think that machine guns have been illegal when it's really just a supply and demand issue and a regulation issue, NFA items, and not enough of them out there. Well, now, because of this case, because of this guy getting let off the hook, being caught with machine guns, because the judge was correct in that there is no constitutionality for the prohibition against machine guns. Well, a lot of people seem to think that now machine guns are like totally legal and unregulated. And unfortunately, that is not the case. And so I felt like it was worth making this video. I'm going to try to keep it relatively short because I am not feeling great right now, but I'm putting on a smile for you guys. But I hope this cleared things up a little bit because that case, unfortunately, does not cover the vast majority of us. In fact, it only covers the guy in that case. So that is that, but it is a step in the right direction. And it's good that there are federal judges that are applying Bruin, applying Caetano in the correct way, and using precedent and understanding that, there really is no reason for the NFA at all. To be quite honest, if you follow Bruin, the National Firearms Act was not in place when the Second Amendment was written. There was nothing about the length of your barrel and any restrictions on it. There was nothing about suppressors, machine guns, or any of that when the Second Amendment was put into place. And so really the NFA should not exist. It should never have existed. But if you apply Bruin, it should not exist anymore. But unfortunately, the way that our court system works is that we would have to get the right case up to the right level of, federal court in order to actually get the NFA gone. And I do believe, maybe I'm just optimistic, but I do think that it'll happen someday because legally it should. But that day, unfortunately, is not today. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments because the more good information that we can get out there to people, the better. As much as I believe that machine guns are legal and that there should be no NFA, we shouldn't have to have tax stamps for SBRs, suppressors, or machine guns. At the same time, I don't want any of you to get in trouble because you got bad information. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.